Do you have enough food to survive if your local grocery stores are closed for a few days, a week, or possibly even a month or longer? Natural disasters have repeatedly exposed how fragile our food security can be. When something like this happens, a lot of families scramble to find simple necessities, hurricanes, snowstorms, anything that would disrupt the supply chains. But the smart people avoid these crises by keeping survival foods ready. And by survival foods, I don't necessarily mean the expensive freeze-dried meals, although those do have their place in preparedness. The canned foods specifically are what I'm going to be talking about today. These foods are affordable and they're a practical solution that will last for years. And on top of that, these foods are so accessible, anytime you go to the store, you pick up a few more cans and just slowly build your food storage. Canned foods are also great because they give you a food option without having to cook meals or prepare meals. Most of these can be eaten straight out of the can and you don't really need to heat them up. Canned foods are also important to have because of their nutritional value, the different types of canned foods and the different types of vitamins and minerals you're going to get from all of these. And again, they have a really long shelf life, much longer than the best by dates that they print on the can. I've done a video in the past where I've opened up some that were 5, 6, 7 years past their best by dates, and most of them were still fine. And also the versatility of canned foods make them a great addition to your long-term food storage because, like I said earlier, you can eat them out of the can, you can make different meals with them and different assortments, so it gives you a little bit of variety. So with that, let's go ahead and get into some of the most important types of canned food that you should have in your stockpile. And the first one I've got here is canned fish, the tuna, the salmon, the sardines, and things like that. Canned fish is great because it gives you that nutrition that it's going to give you more nutrition than you would get from canned chicken or canned beef. They are a good source of calories, a good source of protein. The canned tuna has a little less than the canned salmon, but both of them are higher than what you'd get out of a typical can of chicken. They've got fat in them, omega-3s, just a number of different nutritional benefits that you would get from the canned meats. Now, one issue that comes up with these canned fish are the mercury levels, and the sardines, the mackerel, the anchovies, the salmon, and herring all have lower mercury levels while keeping their nutritional value high. Light varieties of tuna are better than, say, the albacore because they also have less mercury. So keep that in mind when you're stockpiling fish as well, if that's an issue for you. You're going to pay a little bit more for some of these other kind of fish, but they are going to be better for you. The next one I have is canned chicken, and this is a great option for your survival food because it combines nutrition, convenience, and again, versatility. Chicken can be put in a bunch of different recipes, and the canned chicken can be eaten straight out of the can. And trust me, if you are really hungry, it's going to taste wonderful. Now, comparing the canned chicken to, say, the canned fish, the calories, it might be a little bit less on the calorie side. The protein is actually going to be a little bit less as well. And as far as fats go, canned chicken doesn't have much fat. Some of these can also have quite a bit of sodium in there, so try to get the low sodium brands if you can. But just because it's lower than fish doesn't mean it's not a good survival food. Canned chicken is one of the more cost-effective canned meats that you can get, especially when you consider like canned ground beef, which is sort of expensive, and some of the more expensive fishes. Canned chicken is one of those that you can stock up quite a bit on because you're going to use it throughout your daily life, not just when disaster strikes. You're going to use it more than you would, say, canned fish or that canned ground beef. So you can stockpile quite a bit of canned chicken, and I suggest you do. Canned chicken usually lasts about 2 to 5 years. Again, the best by date's going to say around a year or two, but it'll last far beyond that. And if you can find dark meat has more flavor and more calories, although it's sort of tough to find. So most of what you see is probably going to be the white meat variety. The next one I've got is canned soups and stews. And with these, I call these meals in a can because you don't have to prepare anything. You can open these up, heat them up a little bit or not, and you've got a meal ready to go with all the different ingredients. Canned soups are a great way for quick meals during emergencies, and they are something that the whole family is going to enjoy, so it's really convenient, and they've got all the essential nutrients that you're going to need in one can. And you've got a number of different soups to choose from. You've got vegetable soups, which are higher in fiber and other nutrients. You've got chicken noodle, which is protein rich. You've got bean-based meals, which are also high in protein and are really filling. You've got tomato-based soups and even cream-based soups, which are really high in calories. And just like the chicken and most canned food, you want to look for the low sodium options if that's available, because the longer a disaster or something goes on, you don't want to be taking in that much sodium for an extended period of time. And items like the beef stew are a great source of protein, a great source of calories, fats, carbohydrates, and even fiber. So these canned soups and these canned stews, I think, are a really important part of your food storage plan just because of the punch that they pack. And opening one of these up, like I said earlier, it's basically a meal in a can. The next one I have is canned beans, and there's just a number of different types of beans that you can store. And with canned beans, these are really versatile because you can put them in different recipes, you can add them to different meals, or you can eat them straight out of the can. They're high in calories, high in protein, high in fiber, iron, magnesium, just a bunch of different vitamins and minerals that you get out of a can of canned beans. And if you use these as an ingredient to a meal, you're going to get more nutrients as well as the ones just in the can of beans. And just like all the other canned foods that I'm talking about today, a good rule of thumb is 2 to 5 years, although you could probably get a little bit longer. I will go through some of the best practices here in a little bit in this video, but straight out of the can, these are great. And if you know different recipes like ranch beans or chili, you're going to have a lot of options, and storing a large amount of beans isn't going to be a problem at all. The next one I've got is canned vegetables. And, like your mom used to tell you, make sure and eat your vegetables. These are a vital part of your survival pantry. They provide all the essential nutrients that you're going to need during emergency, the vitamins and the minerals, especially the green vegetables, and are a great addition to any meal, a side dish, I suppose. You've got corn, which isn't the most nutritious, but you've also got the green beans, the spinach, the peas. Mixed vegetables are also really popular, kind of get everything all at once. Each of these brings their own benefits, and they can be used in a number of different ways. And much like today, if you're eating a wide variety of different foods, you don't have to pay much attention to the nutritional facts. But in a survival situation, it's going to be more important, and the more variety we have, the better off we are going to be. So canned vegetables are a staple for any good long-term food storage plan. The next one I've got is canned fruits, and there are a bunch of different kinds of canned fruits. And as far as the expiration date goes, these are a little bit trickier. Like I said earlier, most of these foods are 2 to 5 years. That's a ballpark figure. But canned fruits some of them can be high in acid and can degrade the can. So it's a little bit more tricky when you're talking about how long will they last. Some of them might be just fine, but some of them you could be playing with fire the longer you go past their best by date. But with fruits, you've got different types like peaches, which are high in vitamin A and potassium. You've got pineapples, which are great for vitamin C. Mandarin oranges, same thing, vitamin C. You got pears, which are high in fiber and copper. And then you've also got the mixed berries, which could be pretty high in antioxidants and things like that. And fruits are one of those things that everyone in the family is going to love. They could be a dessert. They have the natural sugars, which are much better for you, and even a little bit of hydration because of the juices they are packed in. So along with vegetables, make sure you're getting some of these canned fruits as well. Again, the shelf life on these is a little bit more strict than the other ones, but you're not going to have a hard time inventorying and going through these cans of fruit that you have, as long as you're rotating through them correctly. Now, one that I have that a lot of people don't think about is canned milk. And I've heard this a few times in the preparedness community, but some of these, the evaporated milk and even some of the milk powders are great to have. The evaporated milk, if you just add water to that, it tastes almost exactly like normal milk would. So if you are using it for cereals for the children or in recipes, evaporated milk is fantastic to have. And while these don't have the shelf life that all the other canned foods would have, I think these are about a year or two, They are much longer, especially if you don't have refrigeration. These last much longer than what you would have with fresh milk. And they taste much better than powdered milk. So depending on how much you would use, having 12, 15 cans of this evaporated milk on your shelf would be a great addition to your food storage plan. And if they are getting close to that expiration date, you grab some sort of container, you fill that, and you just make regular milk out of it. Nobody will even know the difference. Now, storing a whole bunch of canned food can get a little bit tricky, and I've thrown away my fair share of canned food because I didn't inventory correctly. I didn't rotate through things. I put things in, stuffed it in corners and ended up finding it 10, 15 years later. But if you follow some of the best practices, you're going to do pretty good as far as throwing away food. Make sure you follow the first in and first out method. That means inventory and rotation. With me, I have a shelf that I can access both sides of, and anytime I add beans or vegetables or anything to that shelf, I pull the old ones up front and put the new ones behind that. That is key to making sure that you're using those before they get too old. Also, make sure they're stored at room temperature, temperatures between 50 and 70 degrees, away from direct sunlight. Make sure there's no dents or dings in the can. Make sure they're well taken care of, and they are going to last much, much longer than that expiration date that's printed on the can. Now, so, like I said earlier, some of these highly acidic foods like canned tomatoes and some of the fruits, those aren't going to last as long. Some of them may even eat away at the can, and you'll be able to tell once you open those up. The sight and the smell are going to be your best indicators of whether that food is good or bad. So canned food is a great way to add to your food storage plan and can be done over time. A little bit here, a little bit there. Just make sure you try to incorporate all of these into your daily diet. Don't buy the ones that you're not going to eat. If you're like me and you don't like the Brussels sprouts or the canned asparagus, don't get those. If you do, stockpile as many as you think you need. But canned food is one of the most popular ways in the preparedness community of building up your long-term food storage. There are other options as well. And like I say in just about all my videos that I do about food, make sure you're not relying on one thing. So not all canned food, not all pantry food, not all freeze-dried food. Make sure you have a wide variety and a number of options for these different disaster scenarios, whether it be for a week or whether it be for a year or longer. Now, like I said, I did a video a while back where I found some canned food that were 6, 7 years old, and I opened those and tested those out. You can watch that video here if you're interested in that. But until next time, take care and prepare, everyone. We will talk to you all later.